Hi and welcome to the 5-Minute Business Boost, where you get to choose your 5-minute investment. I'm your host, Sam Hicks, and I'll be discussing topics under the headings of business development, marketing, photography, and much more. Welcome to the 5-Minute Business Boost. Today's a little break from a break, really. I've had some time off. If you've been following along, you might have noticed things went a little quiet for a while. No podcast, no newsletter since Christmas, a bit of radio silence. And honestly, it wasn't by accident. I did need a break. Not the kind where you sip cocktails and somewhere tropical and get sand in between your toes and pretend emails don't exist. I mean the kind where your body and brain just say, oh dear, that's enough for now. And I know a lot of you will understand exactly what I mean, because this wasn't just about being busy. It was a mix of a few things landing all at once. You know how it comes. Comes in threes. Sometimes it comes in triples of that. So first up, there was Christmas. Every year we tell each other we're going to slow down. We tell ourselves. Do we believe it? Potentially not every time. And every year we do not slow down. You push to finish projects. You're wrapping things up. You're keeping clients happy. You're keeping things moving. And before you know it, you're just running on fumes. You sort of slide into Christmas like some exhausted pigeon. That was me. And then January hits, and instead of feeling refreshed, you feel like you've been hit by a truck. Well, that was me this year. But then on top of that, add in the Longwood fires. Yep, we were caught up in that. And that has changed everything. When something like that happens, business takes a backseat very quickly. You shift into community mode, survival mode, support mode. You're helping people, checking in, coordinating, showing up when you can, especially if your name is Sam Hicks. And it's not just the physical side of it, it's the emotional weight. We're impacted, and all of our neighbours were impacted. We lost properties. Landmarks are gone. Generational history has been wiped out in a matter of hours with that bushfire. And that stays with you. I was talking to a bushfire survivor of 2009 today, and she said to me, Sam, you will never get over this. Here we are, 17 years later after the 2009 bushfires, and here is a person who survived that saying that to me today. So this will stay with us. It stays with you forever. So the break wasn't planned, but it was needed in a way. And I think that's a really important point in that sometimes stepping back isn't a failure in business or your personal life. Sometimes it's the smartest move you can make, because you can't keep showing up properly if you're running on empty. Now, slowly things are starting to come back online. I've been back at work a couple of weeks now, and I mean slowly, first off 1 or 2 days a week. And there's not going to be I'm back full steam ahead moment here. It's more like I'm easing into it, and I've looked at it and I really only want to be working now 1 to 3 days a week. Sound pretty cool, doesn't it? So that's going to take a bit of work. It's going to take a bit of structure and a bit of routine. And that's probably the biggest shift for me this year. Less chaos and more intention. So here's what it looks like for me moving forward. Now, bear in mind, like every other small business owner, this is the dream. This is what's up on the whiteboard this week. So the newsletter is going to go to a monthly format. Not because I can't do weekly, but I just want to be able to do it better. I want it more thought out, more useful, less noise. The podcast, however, hi, I'm here to stay, will stay weekly, because this is my space to talk things through, share ideas and keep things real, interview people and talk about what is affecting small business. And then there's workshops. Those who know me, I've been doing workshops or facilitating workshops since I was about 16, and I love workshops because not only do people learn from me, I learn from them, and it's a really cool vibe. So this is where I'm really leaning in this year. I'm going to have 3 or 4 workshops that are practical, straight to the point, no fluff. Marketing 101 style, social media and AI, one-page business plans, the stuff that actually helps people and small business move forward. And here's the shift. They won't be a set up and hope workshops anymore. They'll be driven by interest, conversations, real demand. People want it, we'll run it. If not, we pivot. And that's the thing. I always ask people, what do you want to see in your workshops? Simple as that. Because I think we've all seen enough of building things that nobody asked for. So here's something else that's really shaped my thinking this year. Community-led recovery. Now, I'm actually living through it. I'm not just talking about it. I have assisted communities over the time. I've done several stints in community-led recovery from a support perspective. Now I'm actually living it. So one of the things that I have learned, but this being involved as I am, I've actually learned that, yes, this is actually so true. And this is about no one size fits all recovery. Every community is different. Every business is different. Every person is different. Some people bounce back quickly. Others take time. Some change direction completely. And that is all okay. Because what matters is taking the next step, not the whole staircase, just the next step. And that applies to businesses as well. Because let's be real for a minute, it's not exactly an easy environment out there right now. We've got rising costs, we've got diesel prices hitting farmers and transport, and everybody who lives in a regional area is going to nod when they hear me talking about this. Interest rates are starting to creep up again, and the cost of living is squeezing households, especially families. And when households feel it, businesses feel it, especially in our regional areas. People spend less. They think twice about every purchase. They will hold back. And that actually creates a pressure. So businesses, again, are sitting in a bit of a crossroads right now. And I really only see two paths. You either knuckle down or you have the very tough conversations. So knuckling down means getting sharper, looking at your numbers, understanding what's actually working, cutting out what's not working, doubling down on what is, and being really clear on your offer and your value. No more of a bit of everything. Now it's just about that steely focus. And then there's the tough conversation. It's one that a lot of people avoid. It has to do with pricing, margins, sustainability. Because here's the truth. If your business isn't viable, it doesn't matter how passionate you are, you can't keep going. Passion ain't going to pay the bills, people. So sometimes you do need to adjust prices. You need to change your model or consider changing your model. Talk about it. Put it on paper. Chat to GTP, whoever you trust, to flesh and brainstorm it out. Or you can just shift your offer. And that can be really uncomfortable, but avoiding it doesn't make it go away, just delays the problem. And I'd rather see many more small businesses have those conversations now than to burn out 6 months down the track, because it's not going to get easier, people. We've already seen it. We've seen the burnout. We've seen the pressure. And there are so many people carrying way too much. You only have to talk about mental illness. You only have to talk about mental health and wellness. That is the big conversation these days. So if there's one takeaway that I want you to take away from this episode, it's this. You are allowed to pause. You're allowed to reassess. And you're allowed to change direction. It's not a weakness. It's good business. And as we move through this year, I think we're going to see more of that. More businesses simplifying, more people focusing on what actually matters to them, and more honest conversations about what's working and what's not. And honest, because, we're being honest here, it's not a bad thing. So, I've had a break, not planned, not perfect, but necessary. And now I'm back. A little slower. A little clearer and a lot more intentional about where things go next. So if you're thinking about a workshop, or you want to do an online workshop with me, because I've just released my winter series through Eventbrite, reach out. Talk to me about what you're looking for. And until next time, remember, things are tight, but anything is possible, especially when you're in the northeast of Victoria. Ciao for now. Thanks for listening to the 5-Minute Business Boost. For more information, follow me on socials, sign up for my newsie, or check out my website to see how we can work together to reach your small business goals. Remember, anything is possible, especially in the northeast of Victoria. Until next time, cheerio.